So you got two, in my opinion, two stories that are unfolding right before our eyes that Americans will be affected by. The first one is the continuing mass migration at the southern border. You saw the pictures at Del Rio, and that is just getting worse as Haitians now start to come into the United States because their country is the worst place in the Western Hemisphere, so why wouldn't you? And Mr. Nero in Washington is fiddling while this is happening. There is absolutely nothing that President Biden is doing to stem this.
Tell me that I'm wrong, that this is not incompetence. This is a controlled collapse of everything that America is. This is by design that all of these things are happening.
Well, here's what should happen. I don't know if you dismiss the incompetence, because certainly President Biden is incompetent.
No, but if you're incompetent, wait. If you're incompetent, you don't continue to stand by it. You try something else, and it might just be just as bad, but they're not.
He doesn't care. Part of incompetence is not caring. So if you hire somebody for the blaze and that person screws up his or her job every day, but the person isn't stupid, the person is apathetic, doesn't care, that's incompetence based upon they just don't care what happens.
Yeah.
That is where we are with President Biden. He does not care about this unbelievable intrusion on the southern border that spans all kinds of social problems, from COVID to welfare to changing the demographics of voting, and he doesn't care. When you have a migrant confrontation with Border Patrol up 330% from August this year to August last year, 330%. You know that things are out of control. But my question is, where's Mitch McConnell? Where's the House Republican leadership? Where are they? Why aren't they out on every single program?
I will tell you, Bill, you need to have Chip Roy on. I just had Chip Roy on from Congress.
Okay, but individuals.
Yeah, I know. We just had this conversation with him.
You have to have an organized dissent.
Yep.
Okay, and it has to be led by the House Minority Leader and the Senate Minority Leader. And those two men have to come together and use the power that the minority party has nationally to be Paul Revere. So you don't have that. You don't have an organized effort by the elected Republicans in Washington to bring this issue to low information voters, of whom they're about 50% now. So half the country doesn't know what the deuce is happening from day to day, and they don't care. But once you start to hammer it, because you have the facts, you have the video, you have testimony, you have violence, you have everything you need. So I'm sitting here going, yeah, the country is now in unbelievable trouble vis-a-vis immigration, and that's going to stem over to economics. You wait and see.
Oh, my gosh.
And the second story that making my hair stand up, what little I have left, is Milley. Because that's a complicated situation that has all kinds of reverberations. And the most important one is Pelosi and Milley. Back door. What the deuce was that? And this is another example of the Republican Party just sitting around, and you just can't go on Fox News. All right, that's preaching to the choir. And look, the best cable people now only get 3 million viewers a night. That's all they get. Okay? That whole industry is devastated. So you've got to go out, all right, everywhere, run TV ads. Where's the Republican National Committee? Running TV ads. That's how you do it. Okay, so what's Pelosi and Milley? What the deuce is this? that the nation's highest military person is having backdoor phone calls with the Speaker of the House to undermine the sitting president? What is that? I mean, that is a horrible, terrible, very important story. And I'm sitting here in my nice house, okay, looking around saying, are we ever going to have an opposition in this country that brings truth to the American people so some of them can wise up? How much longer are we going to watch the deterioration of America?
I will tell you, Bill, this is exactly what I said to Chip Roy, and he agrees with you. And there's a few in Congress. But, I mean, it really, for all of this to be happening, I mean, just one of these stories is the biggest story I've seen. The General Milley story, that is the only time we think in American history. I was talking to Lieutenant General Jerry Boykin yesterday. He said, beside MacArthur, who was called back and fired, he doesn't see anything that is even close to this in American history. Just that alone could change the dynamics of a civilian-run military forever. You have what's happening to the economy. You have what's happening on the border. You have what's happening with Afghanistan. You have what's happening in the fallout of what probably will end up being the collapse of NATO, and you don't have an opposition party. You don't have where the GOP should be at its strongest point ever. The only reason why it's strong at all is because people don't have any other place to go. They're like, well, somebody's got to be better than this.
Look, you're either going to try to save the country or you're not.
Yep.
One of the reasons I'm a registered independent and have been for decades is because I don't really like either party. Because I don't see either party putting the country above their self-interest.
Agree.
Okay? I'm a simple man. I know how to attack a problem. If the Republican Party really cared about America, they would take out television advertisements all over the country, like the CDC is doing about smoking, anti-smoking. Okay? They'll launch a huge television campaign about that. But the Republican Party doesn't have a centralized meeting. Why aren't they meeting at Mitch McConnell's house this weekend?
Don't know.
Why?
Don't know.
Okay? So the leadership should be meeting together and saying, we've reached critical mass here. We've got an incompetent president who doesn't give a deuce about damaging the country. We all know that. He wants to spend $3.5 trillion we don't have on human infrastructure, which means he wants to give away money so people will vote for Democrats.
Okay.